skeins getting lost in the story. I am enough and I know it, but with you I can show it. And do we sink or do we swim? Can't go wrong if we're living. Hold on, you can't let go. Hold on, you can't let go.
And long as the lifespan in thought makes no difference, and patience on we go. And true are the times one part knows when I grow, you will too, so I let go.
Let me tell you how PridePads came about. It came about when I was traveling in the bus, and a girl of about 12 to 13 years started menstruating for her first time. She didn't even know what was happening to her body. And the reaction of the passengers was to disgrace her and shame her. I was very empathetic to the girl, and at that moment, I said to myself, I will not let this happen to any girl, not to my own daughter, not to anybody's daughter anywhere. I would like to say that menstruation does not know race, it doesn't know class. And that is why all the women from around the world should gather behind this vision. And to the men, I would say that we all started our journey from the womb of some woman. And we can give dignity and respect for the woman who gave birth to us by doing something about menstruation in Africa and anywhere in the world.
Gandhi once said that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. PridePads Africa has given me exactly that opportunity. In the fall of 2017, I was introduced to Ajume Wingo through a mutual friend who thought that my daughter Celeste and I might be interested in learning more about a project that he was trying to start in Cameroon, Africa. After meeting Ajume and hearing the story of the young girl who started menstruation for the first time on a public bus and learning more about what that experience was like, we felt called to join him in this mission. Now, nearly 5 years later, PridePads Africa has become a reality. We have traveled to Africa and seen firsthand for ourselves the struggles that the girls in Africa go through with lack of basic sanitary products, lack of menstrual hygiene education, and the stigma that surrounds this issue. I felt it was important to do something for other people outside of my own community in a way that was impactful and meaningful. PridePads Africa is an important mission, and it brings economic empowerment and livelihood opportunities for women and girls in rural Africa. I thank you so much for your support, for everything that you do for this organization, and for understanding the impact that it has. Keeping girls in school is an important part of this project, and we can't do it without your support. Thank you.
I think that some of my most impactful experiences from PridePads would be traveling to Ghana and Cameroon with Ajume and with my mom when I was 16 and 17. I think the reason that these experiences mean so much to me is because we went around to different villages and different communities, and we exchanged different, very important, beautiful aspects of our culture. And this was the first time for me where I really saw the impact that education can have on the trajectory of somebody's life. We went into the schools and we talked to young boys and young girls about what menstrual hygiene is, what sexual education is. what it looks like. And I think it was just really heartwarming for me to see the drastic impact that just starting a conversation and educating people can have on the rest of their lives. So I'm really proud of the educational program that PridePads has implemented into the schools in Cameroon, because I think that PridePads is so much more than just handing a young girl a pad and sending her on her way. It's about empowerment. And what better way to empower women than through education? So I am super excited to see how our educational programs will shift the trajectory of young girls' lives and help empower them through the rest of their lives.
PridePads Africa, so simple and so profound. When I was growing up, my family was really committed to service. They served on numerous boards for numerous causes, and it was implied in my upbringing that I too would one day have a passion project. When my kids were really little, I read a book about young women in third world countries that are pregnant too young for their physical bodies to give birth. They end up with permanent changes to their pelvis, being social outcasts in their communities for the rest of their lives. When girls don't have access to menstrual supplies, they are at greater risk of teen pregnancy and dropping out of school. I was equally outraged as I was motivated to figure out how to solve this. At the time that this project was coming together, I met Ajume Wingo, and everything fell into place. We went to Ghana with our daughters, we went to rural villages, we spoke at school assemblies. The kids in attendance were lively and curious and motivated, and I realized how much menstrual education was really needed in these areas. Anybody witnessing this would have been as motivated to participate. Our privilege laid bare. As mothers and daughters and sisters, it was time to jump in. The provision of sanitary pads to keep girls in school, so simple and so profound. Livelihood empowerment and menstrual education, really necessary. Ajume always says that girls are the future of Africa, and I believe this to be true. Thank you for supporting our mission with PridePads Africa to keeping girls successful in their future and giving back in their own communities.
In 2021, PridePads Africa presented the first ever Cirque de Menses, a menstruation celebration, in partnership with Boulder's premier circus arts troupe, the Fractal Society. We celebrated Global Menstrual Hygiene Day with a circus theater show that combined acrobatics, music, comedy, and menstrual education that shattered stigma and normalized period conversations. In 2022, Volume 2 of Cirque de Menses raised enough money to fund a 2-year lease of our new PridePads facility in Cameroon.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, don't say it 'cause I know I'm cute. Ooh, baby. Louis down to my drawers, LV all on my shoes. Ooh, baby. I be dripping so much sauce, got a bit looking like Greg Goo. Ooh, baby. Lit up like a crystal ball, that's cool, baby, so is you, that's how I roll. If I'm shining, everybody gonna shine. Yeah, I'm gold. I was born like this, don't even gotta try. Now you know. I like shot a nigga better over time. Now you know. Just say I'm not the baddest trick you like. It ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gotta blame it on the goose. Gotta blame it on my juice, baby. It ain't my fault that I'm out here making news. I'm the put it in the proof. Gotta blame it on my juice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Blame it on my juice.
Hey everyone, my name is Derek Garlight and I have been with PridePads Africa since 2019. I'd like to formally thank you all for coming out tonight and helping us celebrate our 2022 fundraiser, Une Nuit pour les Filles. I'd also like to speak to you directly because Cameroon holds a special place within my heart. As part of the NGO, I've lived in Cameroon, and I've worked closely with almost every single person that has been a part of this project. In 2019, I initially moved over to Cameroon to help get the project set up, and since then, I've spent about a year in the country. And each time that I come back, I'm reminded of how much I miss the inclusiveness that I feel there. People in Cameroon will not leave you alone. As soon as you get to know someone, they're your friend. As soon as you share a meal with them, you're their brother. And as soon as you talk to a stranger, they're gonna ask for your phone number so they can call you the next day. I can't count the number of times an acquaintance has shown up where I'm living just to sit on my couch and have a conversation. People in Cameroon connect with one another. This sense of community in their culture is what's inspired a group of women halfway around the world to work with PridePads Africa, a project that allows the space for their imagination and ingenuity to flourish. These Cameroonian women have big dreams. They want to provide education to every school in the country. They want to produce the very best product. They want to encourage women in their communities, and they want to inspire their children and the next generation. Daughters shouldn't be forced out of an education because of menstruation. So please support these women who are fighting to prove themselves, to provide education for their children, and who are fighting for change in their country. Please support these women who have welcomed me into their home and who are trying to produce something that will change the future. Thank you very much for all of you coming out tonight, and I hope you enjoy your evening.
As an undergraduate student at the American University of Paris, I discovered and fostered my passion for women's rights and empowerment in development projects. During my several years as a student of international development, however, we never once spoke about period poverty in class. We spoke about related aspects such as water, sanitation, and hygiene, women's rights, and the importance of girls' education, but menstruation was always left out of the conversation despite its clear connection to these topics. Exacerbated by economic inequality, lack of menstrual literacy, pre-existing stigmas and taboos, and inadequate access to menstrual products and sanitation facilities, period poverty is a universal challenge which requires universal action. Since becoming involved with PridePads Africa, I've seen just how impactful our work is. Something as simple as menstrual hygiene products makes a huge impact in the lives of girls and women in the community. I'm proud to be a board member of PridePads and look forward to continuing to empower women and girls to realize their full human rights and potential as we move forward.
PridePads continues to grow and expand programming thanks to our worldwide network of individual and business donors. Every donation counts, no matter the size, to help fund menstrual health education and free biodegradable pads to hundreds of students each year. But the work doesn't end there, and we still need your support to not only meet the current needs of the community we serve in Gaoundéré, but to one day expand menstrual health programming and pad distribution all throughout Cameroon and the African continent.